Hey friends, so today we are going to be reading chapters 3 and 4 of our chapter book read aloud, which is Junie B, first grader, Shipwrecked. And occasionally I'm sure Cooper will be interrupting us, so you'll have to forgive me for that. Alrighty, here we go. Remember, the heading of chapter 3 was V-I-R-U-S, virus. Here we go. It is still Friday. Dear first grade journal, we just came in from recess. We are waiting for Mrs. Weller to talk to us about germs. May started holding her nose again. Do you remember why they started holding their nose? Whisper to your parents why. Also, Sheldon put another paper bag on his head. Today is an interesting day in room 1 from Junie B, first grader. She's writing in her journal. Just then, there was a knock at our door and Mrs. Weller came in. Mr. Scary went to meet her. Mrs. Weller, I'm very glad you could come back, he said. Room 1 is still worried about what happened to Roger this morning, and we need some advice about how to stay healthy. Mrs. Weller's eyes glanced over to Sheldon's bag head. Mr. Scary's eyes glanced over there too. Some of us are a little more worried than others, he said kind of soft. Mrs. Weller went to the board and she printed some big letters. V-I-R-U-S. Virus. Virus, she said. These letters spell the word virus, children. Have any of you ever heard the word virus before? Now, I know that we can make a text-to-self connection because we're probably hearing that word virus very often lately with everything going on. Cooper, get out the way, mister. So sorry, friends. Here we go. I have, Lucille said really excited. My Nana grows viruses all over the place. You should see our house, nurse. Sometimes we have fresh viruses in every single room, almost. For a second, Mrs. Weller's face went kind of funny. Then all of a sudden, a light bulb came on in her head, I think. Oh, I think you mean irises, Lucille, she said. Irises are very beautiful flowers, aren't they? But viruses are tiny little germs that make people sick. Lucille started fluffing her hair, very embarrassed. Then she fluffed and fluffed and fluffed until finally she sat down again. Mrs. Weller kept on talking. Boys and girls, there's a stomach virus going around school, and I'm guessing that your classmate Roger has probably caught it now. May nodded her head and pointed at herself. That's why I'm holding my nose, she said.
See, Mrs. Weller, I'm being smart by not breathing the germy air.
Mrs. Weller looked kind of puzzled. Yes, but you're still breathing, May, she explained. The air is simply going on in your mouth instead of out of your nose. May looked shocked at the comment. Mrs. Weller smiled. I'm sorry, dear, but I'm afraid it just doesn't help to hold your nose. In fact, one of the easiest ways to catch a virus is to touch your nose with your germy hands. May didn't move a muscle. She just kept on sitting there looking surprised. Finally, I leaned over and I tapped her. I think that means you are a nose squeezer. Lenny and Herbert laughed real loud. They enjoy my humor. After that, Mrs. Weller printed 4 rules on the board about how to stay healthy. 1, do not share straws or glasses or forks or spoons. 2, do not share foods or drinks. Wow, these are definitely some rules that we can be following right now too. 3, keep your hands away from your mouth, eyes, and nose. 4, wash your hands often with soap and water. She put down the chalk and glanced over at Sheldon again. Oh, and I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but you can't really hide from germs either, she said. So for those of you wearing paper bags on your heads, there are probably thousands of germs in there with you. For a second, Sheldon sat as still as a statue. Then all of a sudden, he shouted real loud, "Ah!" And he quick pulled off the bag. Then he zoomed straight to the sink and he washed his hands and face with soap. Plus, also he washed his arms and his legs with a paper towel. After that, he took off his shoes to wash his feet, but Mr. Scary said no. "We're not doing a full body scrub, son," he said. "Your face and your hands are enough." Sheldon looked upset. "But germs can get on other places too," he said. "Like, what if someone drools on your arm? Or what if you get burped on? Or what if you fall down on top of a sick person and he sneezes germs right up directly into your nostrils?" Oh my goodness, he needs to relax. Mr. Scary rolled his eyes. "Come on, Sheldon. Now you're just being silly," he said. "I've been around a long time, and believe me, no one has ever sneezed germs directly into your nostrils." After that, he took Sheldon's hand and he sat him down again. Pretty soon, Mrs. Weller had to go back to her office, but before she left, she took us to the sink and she showed us the right way to wash our hands. Room 1 lined up and washed very perfect. Then we waved goodbye to Mrs. Weller. We were sad to see her go, because now we had to do schoolwork, probably. Only here is what we didn't even know. Mr. Scary had a happy announcement, and he'd been waiting all day to tell us. "Boys and girls, I know we had a pretty rough morning, but I think I have some news that will cheer you up," he said. He smiled. "In 2 weeks, our school is having an event called Parents' Night. Have any of you ever heard of Parents' Night before?" Lenny quick raised his hand. "I have," he said. "My sister told me all about it. She said Parents' Night is the night when parents come to school and they poke their noses in your business." Uh-oh. Mr. Scary did a little frown. "Yes, well, I don't really think that's the best way to put it, Lenny," he said. "Your parents don't come to poke their noses in your business. Parents are interested in what we do here in school. So sometimes they like to come to the classroom and spy on us," said Jose. "But in where they don't belong." "Invade in our personal space," said Sheldon. Mr. Scary closed his eyes a second. Then he walked back down to his desk real slow, and he sat down in his chair and he ran his fingers through his tired hair. "Okay, I'll get right to the point," he said. "This year, for Parents' Night, I thought it would be fun to do something special. So I was wondering, how would you feel about putting on a play?" My ears perked up at that word. "A play?" I said, kind of thrilled. "A play?" said Herbert and Shirley. "A play?" said May. Then all at once, room 1 started clapping and clapping. "A play! A play! A play!" we shouted. "Yay! Yay! A play!" That's like our reader's theater. I springed out of my chair. Sprung, we're being grammar police again. "I know a lot about plays, Mr. Scary," I said. "On account of last summer, I went to a real, actual children's theater, and I saw a play about a mouse. And that thing was a hoot, I tell you. And so maybe we can do a mouse play too?" Mr. Scary smiled. "Yes, well, I'm sure a mouse play would be fun, Junie B. But since it's October, our play is going to be about Christopher Columbus," he said. "We celebrate Columbus Day this month, remember? So Parents' Night will be perfect timing." I thought it over a second. Then I shook my head no. "Nope. Sorry, I think a mouse place is still the way to go here," I said. Mr. Scary said, "Thank you for my opinion, and please sit down." I tapped my foot, kind of annoyed. Then I gazed my eyes around the room. "Okay, who would rather do a mouse play? Please raise your hand," I said. Mr. Scary snapped his fingers at me. Snapping means the conversation is over, I believe. I sat down. The next chapter is chapter 4, Finding Facts. What do you think they're going to find facts about? How can you make a connection with this heading and what we just read? Share that with your family. You ready? Awesome. Here we go. Chapter 4, Finding Facts. That day, when I got home from school, Mother was already back from work. I like it when that happens. She was in the kitchen with my dog named Tickle. I gave her a paper Mr. Scary sent home about the play. Her face smiled when she read it. "Oh boy, your class is going to do a play for Parents' Night, huh?" she said. "How fun." I shrugged my shoulders. "Yeah, only it would be funner." "More fun." "If it was a mouse play," I said. "But Mr. Scary says it has to be about old Columbus Day." Mother kept on reading. "Oh, and look at this," she said. "It says that over the weekend, you're supposed to look up facts about Columbus and his ships, and whoever has the most facts will get to choose their part in the play." I rolled my eyes. "Fact number 1, I said. Columbus is not a mouse, and so I don't even care about this play anymore." After that, I turned around and I clomped out of the kitchen kind of grumpy. Tickle clomped with me. We were almost to my room when my mother called after me. "I just don't get it, Junie B," she hollered. "I thought you always wanted to be a star." Or stop clomping. Tickle stopped clomping too. "A star?" I said. Whoa. I never even thought about that situation. I quick turned around and zoomed back to the kitchen. "A star?" I asked. "I could really be a star, do you think? Like the one and only star of the whole entire production, you mean?" Mother grinned. "Well, maybe not the one and only star," she said. "But still, if you bring in the most facts about Columbus, you'll be able to choose any part you want." Just then, my legs jumped all around, very excited. "The star part, Mother," I said. "I am going to choose the star part." I quick grabbed her hand. "Let's go. Hurry, hurry. We have to go to the library to get my facts straight." Mother undid my hand. "Sorry, honey, but we can't go now," she said. "Ollie's right in the middle of his nap, and I don't have a babysitter." I slumped my shoulders, very glum. Remember, we're making a connection between Text to Text, another Junie B book we read. Ollie is her baby brother. "Ugh," I said. That baby ruins everything." Mother wrinkled her eyebrows at me. "Ollie, don't call your brother Junie, don't call your brother any names. And besides, you and I can go to the library tomorrow. Tomorrow will be plenty of time for you to collect your facts." She stood there for a minute. "Or," she said, "if you want to do it right now, we can look up some Columbus facts on the computer. How does that sound?" I grabbed her hand again and I pulled her to her desk. "Perfect," I said real squealy. "That sounds perfect." And so me and my mother sat down at her desk and she typed the name of Christopher Columbus on her computer. And wowie, wow, wow. A jillion pages came up about that guy because he was famouser than I thought. Not famouser, he was more famous. There were easy pages and hard pages and shorty pages and lungy pages and picture pages and poem pages, and there were even song pages. Me and my mother read the pages out loud together. I read the easy pages, and she read the real hard ones. Then I wrote down lots of important facts we found out, and before I even knew it, I had 18 whole facts printed on my paper. I jumped down from my chair very thrilled. 18! 18! I have 18 whole facts, and 18 is more than my wildest dreams, I said. Then I hugged Mother real joyful, and me and Tickle skipped to and fro and far and wide and round and round and round. Chapter 5, the winners. Make a little prediction of what do you think is going to happen in that chapter. See you tomorrow, friends. Love you.